Afternoon, guys. I took the time out to enter the Lion's Den and attend the gambling reform rally in London to hear from real people their experiences of gambling and what could be done to improve relations between the gambling companies and their operators. It was, I have to say, a depressing experience, not because I heard from real people and their views. Speeches and thinking were entirely governed without question or debate by a group of members of parliament and celebrity gamblers endorsing the day to sell their books about gambling. Those MPs that were attending led the way with utterly hateful rhetoric, not just aimed at gambling operators, but of other politicians who did not share their views. The audience, a heady mix of keyboard warriors and those who simply hate losing. They don't want gambling banned, is their refrain, but they do seek control of the lives of others, even if their blinkers won't allow them to see it that way. Gambling operators were described as drug dealers, peddling heroin, all about profit, and opposing MPs described as corrupt or on the take from gambling companies, despite the fact that just about everyone who took the stage was looking to profit from their association with opposition of gambling. Many of those present likely don't gamble at all these days, either now or ever. They don't care about the views of those that do gamble, nor respect their views. That is key to this debate. I understand those genuine people who have experienced gambling harm, who feel they should share their experiences with others by way of education, but these sensible folk are in the minority. The UK Gambling Commission remains hugely inefficient. By the time the people reach the real problem stage, have self-excluded from a UK operator, or signed up to GamStop, they are often already betting on the black market, over which the Gambling Commission has no control. Worse, the Commission denies the importance of the black market. Enter Jack Ritchie, who unfortunately took his own life after losing money with an offshore gaming operator. If the Commission cannot tackle the unregulated black market, then the reality remains they are not tackling the biggest threat to gamblers. The elephant simply fills the room. In going overboard with restrictions on the regulated licensed businesses, they are in fact distancing gamblers who most need our assistance from the protected environment of a regulated market. What takes place right now simply worsens the situation. Affordability checks will send the vast majority of our most vulnerable gamblers to the black market. Those who cannot control their betting will simply be unable to supply the comprehensive financial paperwork to gambling operators from the regulated market. The same checks are not present in the unregulated market, you understand. You simply cannot stop humans from partaking of something they are addicted to, neither ban nor legislate against the same. Those who smoke, drink, take drugs, eat, and gamble too much are only capable of stopping if they have the will to do so or are assisted by treatment. Gambling is one of a range of activities humans enjoy to escape the stresses of work and life, sometimes to excess. Until the regulator recognizes and tackles the black market before it attacks the licensed community, it will remain completely unfit for the purposes it was created. Perhaps the most depressing part was the attendance of Chris Philp, a young and clearly impressionable minister given charge of gambling. Has he attended any rallies of late of those millions of silent people who enjoy gambling and keep their spend under control? No. Policy is governed by those these days who shout the loudest. Mr. Philp took to the stage to try to impress them. His speech proclaimed there are 409 suicides related to gambling every year in the United Kingdom. There is absolutely no evidence of this claim. Either he doesn't understand his job or he's trying to impress those who cannot be impressed. He refuses to engage with real gamblers or respect their right to privacy. Now, there is little doubt large betting companies have behaved in a manner over the last decade that is quite unacceptable. The proliferation of marketing, in particular, endorsed by celebrities like Ray Winston, and their robust defense of fixed odds betting terminals in betting shops, both their most notable denials of the bleeding obvious. This is precisely why they fail as a community, and given the impersonal nature of online gambling these days, it is vital they start showing a kinder side and do the job properly. State control of your spend is what the lobbyists seek, with a maximum deposit level of just £3 a day. Yes, you heard that right. Before a consumer must subject himself to invasive affordability checks conducted by someone working for a gambling company, often in Gibraltar or Malta. A gambling company with access to your sensitive financial records deciding if you can have a bet or not. I still cannot believe this is being seriously considered in a free society. What are the dangers of the black market? High spin rates, uncontrolled depositing of funds, use of credit cards, no timeouts, no personal interventions of those exhibiting gambling-related harm. You can brush all this under a convenient carpet, but this is the first and net effect of checks on people's finances. Those with the least, those with finances that are not in good order, and yes, it has to be said, those who profit by their gambling will be driven offshore. Let us be very clear. The technological and financial marvel, the supreme organ that is the Chinese state, has been unable to defend itself from the tentacles of a multi-billion-pound gambling enterprise, Bet365, from doing business with its people. Quite what the UK government thinks it can do to defend consumers from an unscrupulous black market isn't known. Riding bareback through a consumer's right to reasonable privacy, embarking on a program of state control of our spend, this is the mantra of pure extremism. Don't forget, we are very close right now to a government driving a cashless society agenda. Can you remember when you last used cash? Intervention into how we conduct our lives starts with such measures as I've talked about today, and they are always claimed to be for our benefit. How much we spend in other areas directly follows legislation that permits government to control one area of so-called addiction. For your protection, the government will control via your debit card if you have that second pint of beer, eat fast food, spend too much on that car, or deposit too much with a gambling company. And it will all be for your own good. I would resist all of this. You should.